Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 13 and compare it against the iPhone SE 2022 model and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now, the thing I can definitely tell you when it comes down to both of these particular devices is that they both still give you a lot of capability and they both still give you, a good amount of power and stuff. Clearly, there are some, reasons why the 13 might be better. There might be some reasons the SE2 is better, or the SE3 is better, but let's go ahead and see which particular device is the better one for you. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these particular devices, links will be down in the description below. You can get that from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular both these particular phones. The iPhone SE 2022 model originally came out back in 2022, and this was supposed to be that next successor of the SE2. So this was a good looking phone. I thought it looked really nice when it first came out, but it was really outdated by the time it already came out. Because it was giving you that 4.7-inch Retina IPS LCD panel, it was already a very, very outdated type of screen by the time you went through and kind of picked it up. The layout is outdated, the panel is outdated. It's really just not going to be that great of a looking panel if you're going to go through and buy it. So that right there is kind of an issue, right? Like if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, like I said before, you probably don't want to go through and get a device that's going to be giving you a little bit of a worse type of experience from that particular situation. And I feel like that right there is kind of a problem. Albeit it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but that is going to be kind of a problem that's going to end up happening here. So for starters, it is already an IPS panel and it's going to be 60 Hertz. So, I feel like nowadays you got to pick one, right? Get a higher refresh rate and get an OLED or, maybe lower resolution, but it's really tough to get a 60 Hertz and an IPS panel and expect it to kind of stay in the test of time for that period of time, right? So that right there is kind of a big issue you might run into. Beyond that though, I will say that this type of device still kind of is holding up kind of okay. So if you are getting a device like this, the thing you're going to have to remember is that with the iPhone 13, this one's giving you a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this panel on the iPhone 13 is going to be significantly better. So it's going to be a bigger size panel, which already is very nice. I love having a bigger size screen, and you are essentially going to be getting that here inside of this type of device, which is something I actually like. So being able to go through and get a better device like that, I think is really important. So that right there is going to be nice. And on top of that, another important thing to keep in mind here too, is that when you do kind of take a look at these types of devices, something like the iPhone 13, it looks more like a modern phone than the iPhone SE3. The SE3 already looked like an old phone by the time it came out. The iPhone 13 is going to be a significantly better type of phone, a better looking phone from that particular side. Slim bezels around it, no home button, nothing like that. The 13 definitely is the winner here on the front. On top of that, both are giving you lightning ports at the bottom, no USB Type-C or anything like that. So a little, lackluster from that standpoint, but again, nothing crazy. You're still also going through and maintaining pretty good build qualities on the back and the front. They're both built relatively the same. They both have glass on the back, dual camera setup on the iPhone 13, a single camera setup on the iPhone SE2, and definitely when I take a look at the outside, you can tell that the iPhone SE2 is a fairly outdated type of device. It's going to look outdated, it's going to feel outdated. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to go through and buy that type of device anymore when something like an iPhone 13 definitely looks and feels so much better. And the 13 is an even older phone than the iPhone SE2 and iPhone SE3, which is crazy. So when you think about it from that standpoint, that's just kind of like a crazy thing when it kind of comes down to it. So again, it isn't the biggest, craziest deal in the world, but that will just be one of those other things that you're just going to have to kind of keep in mind there when you're going through and kind of buying this type of phone, so to speak. So from that side as well, that kind of covers it up there too. Now, another one of those really big things to keep in mind here as well is that if you are going to go through and pick up this phone, either one of these, you're going to probably take a look at these cameras and think to yourself on which type of camera you're going to want to buy, right? So with the iPhone SE3, this one's giving you a single 12 megapixel wide angle camera on the back and then a 7 megapixel camera on the front, where the iPhone 13 is giving you two 12 megapixel sensors and then a 12 megapixel wide angle camera on the front side. So I feel like between both these phones, they're both going to be giving you a good experience, right? So nothing is going to be super crazy. I feel like both these are going to be giving you a good type of experience when you're kind of taking a look at them. But the thing you're going to have to remember is that as you're kind of using these types of devices, it always makes a lot of sense to go through and get a camera that's going to be better. 4K at 60 on the front and the back of the iPhone 13, 4K at 60 on the back on the iPhone SE 2, but only 1080p at 60 on the front. Actually, yeah, 1080p at 120 actually on the front, which is nice, but it's still not going to be as nice of a capability compared to a lot of these other devices. So once again, it makes a lot more sense to go through and buy a device that is going to be giving you an overall better experience, right? And unfortunately, with something like an iPhone 13, this is just going to be a better experience than the iPhone SE 2 and the iPhone SE 3. I keep calling it the SE 2, but it's the SE 3. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, another thing to keep in mind here as well is that when you take a look at these types of devices, the iPhone, 13 is probably going to be lasting as long as the iPhone SE 3 in terms of software support. So it is kind of crazy because you would take a look at these types of devices and you would think to yourself that, the iPhone 13 has to last longer because it's a way better looking device and all that. That is not the case. The iPhone 13 and the iPhone SE 3 are probably going to last the same amount of time in terms of software support. So that's just kind of how software support goes. That's just how this thing's going to go as well. So albeit it isn't the biggest deal in the world, but that is just going to be another one of those, big things from a software perspective you're going to have to remember. The iPhone 13 is also going to be giving you significantly better battery life as well. So if you are wanting better battery life from your device, then like I said before, definitely something like an iPhone 13 is going to be the one that is going to be giving you overall better battery life from that particular perspective as well. And that's another really big thing to keep in mind here. And finally, when it comes down to the performance, in an interesting twist of turns, the iPhone 13 is actually going to be giving you the same type of chipset and experience as the iPhone SE 3. The iPhone SE 3 is going to be giving you the Apple A15 Bionic chip inside with 4 gigs of RAM. Same exact thing for the iPhone 13. So if you're taking a look at these types of devices, you are going to be seeing that both these devices are going to be basically the same type of performance from that particular side. So I feel like that right there is going to be another really important thing to keep in mind there as well, because if you're going to go through and pick up a device, you're probably going to be getting a really good type of performing phone from both of these. At least you're getting similar performing phones for both of these. So that right there, it's not really going to be giving you any big differences from that side. So to kind of sum it up, what I definitely will tell you is that between both these phones, I'm a big fan of both these devices. I'm not really a big fan of the iPhone SE 3, but I'm a big fan of the iPhone 13. And I feel like this type of device definitely makes a lot of sense to go through and still pick up. This is easily those types of phones that I would recommend people to go ahead and buy. It's going to be giving you a really good type of experience, really good type of build quality, and I feel like this type of phone is probably going to stand the test of time better than you think. With something like the iPhone SE 3, this phone, it just doesn't make really that much sense to go ahead and buy anymore. These types of phones are already kind of outdated. The build quality is outdated. Basically everything about these phones are basically outdated, to be honest. So I would recommend buying an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 14 Pro. I, in probably no situation, would recommend buying something like an iPhone, SE 3 at this point. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.